He doesn't hurt you by accident, right? He hurts you on purpose. And he does it in a way that fits you so perfectly. That's why it feels so personal, right? It cuts so deep, and why you keep thinking, how does he always know exactly where to jab me? This is what I call bespoke abuse, right? It's custom-made harm, and it's tailored to your nervous system, your history, your fears, and the things that you value the most. So if you've ever thought, if he treated anyone else like this, they'd walk away, or no one else sees how much it hurts you, that's the point. The abuse is designed for you. I'm Lisa Sonni. I'm a relationship coach specializing in abuse recovery and trauma bonds, and I'm also a survivor of domestic abuse. I've spent years hearing women ask the same question: why does he do this to me? And the answer is not because you lack self-worth, you're broken, or that you deserve it. It's because he learned how. And once you see bespoke abuse, the question changes, right? You stop asking, why am I so sensitive? And you're going to start asking, why does he know exactly how to hurt me and keep doing it? This is the breaking the shelf moment for so many women. And I'm going to tell you how he does this and why. This isn't random. And it's not him losing control. That's such a myth. Abusive men don't use one set of behaviors on every woman. They don't just pick a tactic and stick with it. He adapts, he adjusts, he tries things out, and he keeps what works. The goal isn't yelling, silence, threats, jealousy, sexual pressure, or humiliation. You can consider those more like tools. But the goal is impact and power. The goal is control over your emotional state. And that's why one woman's going to get stonewalled and another one is going to get chased and attacked with words. That's why one woman's going to be cheated on and another one is going to get accused of cheating nonstop, right? Same type of man, different woman, different strategy. Now, you hear people online say things like, all narcissists stonewall or all narcissists cheat. It's simply not true. And in my own relationship, my abuser, he never stonewalled me. That confused me for a really long time because stonewalling is like one of the most common abuse tactics, right? But stonewalling felt more like peace to me, right? I was happy to have a friggin' break. If he had gone quiet, given me that silence, my nervous system would have probably calmed down. I would have felt relief. So he didn't do it, but he did come at me relentlessly with words, yelling, interrogating, attacking, following me from room to room. He would argue with me any time of day, including the middle of the night when I was dead asleep, because it worked. It kept me dysregulated and reactive. He knew exactly what drove me insane and made me eventually scream back and lose my mind. Not proud of it. We've all been there, right? He would stand there so pleased with himself. And then he would just go about his life like he didn't just torment me. One of my clients actually shared something that is another perfect example. Her partner used to threaten to watch porn if she didn't sleep with him. She knew that he was trying to pressure her. She couldn't name it at the time as coercion, right? That is the accurate description, but it was like pressure to her. And it meant she felt hurt. And in the back of her mind, she was kind of like, okay, so go do that then, right? Like go watch it, whatever. It was a weak threat because she didn't care if he watched it. In the heat of his threats, she didn't take the bait. 2 years into the relationship, porn came up casually in some kind of neutral conversation, and she said out loud that she was indifferent to it. It didn't bother her that he watched it sometimes. He looked shocked, and he was like, I thought you hated it. Well, months go by, he never threatened it again, not once. He started to threaten to cheat, in fact. He switched. He didn't stop threatening to watch porn because it was wrong. He stopped because he realized it didn't hurt her, right? It didn't get him the sex that he felt entitled to. It didn't hurt her. The moment that tactic lost its power, and he knew that, it disappeared. That alone tells you everything you need to know about his intent. Use these two examples and tell me in the comments what you saw, what you see in your own relationship that was very customized just for you. So let's shift to how do they learn what hurts you, right? Because that's like, how do they figure this out? That's the part so many people want to know. They learn it through intimacy, not conflict, right? Early on, you share things because you think that's what closeness is. Normal. You talk about your childhood, past relationships, fears, your insecurities, the things that made you feel small, things that you're ashamed of, things that you never want to experience again. You think you're building trust. He's building a map. Those details don't disappear. No. They show up later, usually during fights, right? Usually when he wants leverage. The fear of being abandoned or being replaced shame around sex, money, motherhood, aging, being too much, whatever. The places where you already doubt yourself. That's the point. What is your deepest insecurity? What hurts you? What are your fears, your childhood wounds? Because he's coming for those. They also learn by watching your reactions, okay? They don't always need to ask what hurts you directly. They observe. They throw out like little jabs, subtle comments, a little dismissal, a little dig. Maybe it's easy to explain away in the moment, but then they watch you closely. They watch your face. Do you freeze? Do you cry? Do you flinch? Do you over-explain? Apologize? Do you get anxious, shut down, fawn? Whatever is going to create the biggest reaction, that's going to get remembered. If a comment about your appearance makes you spiral, that's going to be his favorite. If questioning your loyalty makes you panic or get really defensive and pissed off, he will reuse that, right? Pulling away might make you chase, right? Especially when you think of like the avoidant and anxious attachment style. That withdrawal will now become his tool. And it's not unconscious, it's cause and effect. They learn through boundaries too. So you say something like, please don't joke about that, or like, that really hurt me, or hey, I'm kind of sensitive about this. A healthy partner takes note and they avoid it. But an abusive man, he takes note and he's going to come back to it later repetitiously. Boundaries don't stop abuse for men like this, right? They just show him your targets. That's why so many women say, every time I tell him something that specifically hurts me, he does it more. And the craziest thing is we all say like, I don't get it. It's on purpose. But we don't get that someone could do this on purpose when it's happening right in front of us. And then we start to think, wow, maybe it's because I explained it wrong, right? No, you've highlighted your own pressure point. We have got to stop asking, why does he do this when he knows it hurts me? Because the answer is because it hurts you. You can barely believe that he does this to hurt you, because who would do that to someone they love? Well, you've hit the next question really hard then, right? Does he love you if he does this? Enter cognitive dissonance, right? It's so confusing. They also learn through what you value. If you value honesty, they lie, gaslight. If you value being a good partner, they're going to question your effort, right? You value being a good mother, they're going to tell you you're a bad one. You value being chosen, they'll threaten to cheat or replace you. They abuse you in ways that attacks you. It attacks what matters most to you, not what matters most to him. Now, I used to struggle with likability, right? It's an old childhood wound. I could tell stories, but he would tell me constantly that people didn't like me. And he would kind of present it as the truth, right? And then he would tell me that I can't get mad at the truth, right? I'm just saying, you're just sensitive. It drove me insane. And then there's the testing, right? Abusive men, they love to test you constantly. They don't usually start with the worst behavior. They start small. Something that feels off, but maybe not alarming. Something you can kind of excuse or you can rationalize. And if you stay, they go further, right? You stay again, they go further still. So every time that you adapt, he learns what you'll tolerate. They test you during stress, when you're tired, grieving, postpartum, overwhelmed, sick, financially strained, you name it. These moments are not random. If you tolerate it then, he knows he has you. He's just going to keep doing it. Even when they promise they won't, they're still going to. And they think that you're sort of accepting this, right? She knows how you keep promising that you aren't that way. But in his mind, you already know that he is. And now your punishment for staying is him doing it again. It's wild. Now, they also test you by switching some of these tactics around. So when one thing stops working, they change strategies. If yelling doesn't get a reaction anymore because maybe you're in therapy and you're staying regulated, he'll go cold. Silence might stop working, so now he's going to provoke you. If threats don't work anymore, he'll guilt you. If guilt stops working, he's going to cry and play the victim. Like, oh my God, the abuse doesn't stop. I would say that it kind of shapeshifts. Now, this is where women think maybe he's changing. Maybe he's growing. No, he's adjusting. He uses really covert tactics like negging or dog whistling. So you feel insulted, right? But you can't really place why you're so hurt. He has plausible deniability. In my book, Narcissism Unmasked, I outline 125 abuse terms and tactics. I want you to see through all of this crap clearly. This level of precision, it proves his intent. If the behavior was really about his feelings, it would be messy, right? He'd be like this with everyone if it was just stress or just how he is, right? If this were about insecurity, it would be kind of inconsistent and clumsy. But instead, no, bespoke abuse, it's very controlled. It happens in private and it hits the same nerve again and again. And it stops when it stops working. It escalates when you get stronger. He's not just dysregulated, right? And acting out of control or out of character. This is controlled and it is his character. And you can see it clearly when you ask a few simple questions. Does he hurt you in ways that he doesn't hurt other people? Does he know exactly what to say to ruin your day, but somehow controls himself at work, with friends, and in public? Yeah. Does the abuse change when your reactions change? Like when you stop crying and he switches tactics, right? He's adjusting. Does he suddenly understand when there's consequences that affect him? Because if he can't help it until you pull away and then suddenly he understands that's a choice, right? He pretends to understand temporarily because he doesn't want you to leave because he doesn't want to lose control. Does he reuse all of your vulnerabilities in conflict? Like if the same wound gets reopened every single time, I hate to tell you, it's not an accident. Does the behavior disappear when it doesn't hurt you anymore? Just like that porn threat that guy never used again when it lost its power. None of this is normal arguing or normal conflict. Nothing I've described here is an accident. This isn't two people triggering each other equally. I could make a whole video on an abusive man's entitled triggers. If this is hitting you and you want deeper education around trauma bonds and why these dynamics are so hard to leave, I have resources that go far beyond one video. But for now, let this sit. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you are. And if something kind of clicked while you were listening, leave a comment. I read them and you're not imagining what happened to you. Side note, a great book recommendation for this is actually called Cruelty by Nature, The Science of Intentional Abuse by Dr. Peter Salerno.